Don't stand over there.
Okay. Okay. Do you got audio, sir? Okay. I told her. Oh my God, y'all. We just.
Miss, do you have your ID?
Give me a second, y'all, please. Just give me a second.
That's the reason why I was in the buggy. We took it back up there and had it out for UPC.
But what that? Oh, explain that. What that mean?
It means it's not the correct price on that.
On both of them? That's what I'm saying.
On October 21st, 2023, officers were dispatched to a retail store following a reported shoplifting incident at a self-checkout lane. A woman was detained unpaid merchandise in her cart and questions about how it got there. But did what she said at that scene cost her more than the items themselves?
Okay, so now this one here, you can see text too.
Hey, ma'am, can you have a seat over here, please?
Sorry. Hold on, wait, because they just said we was going to...
What are we doing? Prosecute.
Yeah, we just was going to... They were what?
Prosecute.
Can you just sit down for us?
Hold on, y'all. I thought you said we was going to do the... Like...
Okay, Thompson states, you don't give ID, you prosecute.
Okay, well, no, then we can do that then.
Alright, so right now we're investigating a shoplifting, so I need you to sit down
Okay.
and provide your identification, okay?
Okay.
Can you sit down, please?
Wow.
You have an ID with you?
Oh my God, y'all. We just...
Miss, do you have your ID?
Give me a second, y'all, please. Just give me a second. Because we just was talking and they said that they understood it was some stuff missing, but it's not even all the stuff that they thought was in the card.
Let's see your receipt, please.
Okay.
You have an ID?
So can y'all give me just 2 seconds? Can you close the door? Frank, call DJ. Call DJ.
Close the door. We don't need people showing up here.
No, it's not for that. It's not going to be that type of situation,
I got you.
sir. I just need him to know because I got my baby on standby.
Okay.
Okay. I got one question. Do I go to jail?
Well, we're figuring out what's going on.
Okay. So then my question again. I know y'all got questions too or things going. How do you go to jail about it? Like, what is the... Give me the rundown how you go. You get what I'm saying? Do you get my question? Like, how do you...
What are the elements of...
Yes, sir.
Did you shoplift?
I didn't intentionally. The girl was with me the whole time. Like, the worker, she stood by me the whole time.
Did you do the self-checkout or did you go through
The
someone?
self-checkout, but she sat literally right.
Hold on.
Sorry, friend. Hold on, friend. Just stay there. Stay there. Don't do that. Don't do that.
She told me that, so I
Who did?
She did.
We're having a conversation trying to figure out what happened, okay? Okay. Don't stand over there. Okay.
Okay, so the girl stood by me the whole time when I was talking to the... My bad. When I was talking to the manager who was just at the door, she was telling me, she said, I saw the girl sitting there talking to you and rambling the whole time. So that could have been a reason why you sat there and did that. But I told her, I said, I don't want her to have anything happen to her as well because she saw her use her discount card. So it started from there. She was like, it's a couple of steaks in there that's not paid for in your salmon. So I did. They pulled this stuff out. And she saw the steaks is all like all in my buggy. The steaks is paid for in that buggy. So then they said the salmon wasn't paid for. The salmon wasn't. One of them was and one wasn't. So she was like, okay, so it is not looking like you sat and stole all the stuff, but you just did have some things in the buggy that was not scanned correctly. So that's what I told her. She said, okay, from there we're gonna take this stuff out this buggy and you could go on about your day. And that's where we was at. So I was helping him take the stuff out the buggy that was mis-scanned, and then the other stuff he kept.
You're saying they weren't scanned because you were busy talking to your friend?
In so many words, if you want to sum it up, basically, she was sitting right there, and she just was saying that. She said, "You went."
Well, you know, there's cameras that are right above you that look down on me.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. If you look on the camera, you see me talking. I'm just rambling, laughing with a kiki and stuff. So when he came up, I didn't give him no issues. I did not. That's why I say when he came up, he was like, "You don't have some of your stuff scanned." I said, okay. I'm like, okay, well, we can run through the buggies. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to run out the store. No, let's go through the buggies and see what's not scanned. But he scanned all, like I said, all the other stuff.
She had a worker helping her.
No, she wasn't. That's what I'm saying. See, I don't want you to do that because she was not helping me. It wasn't help. It was just her, honestly, if you look on the camera, the girl there.
I see the girl. I see the girl, the worker.
Oh, you see it. She's helping me put the stuff in the bag. Because I'm like, stop talking to me. And do you got audio? sir? Okay. I told her, I said, stop talking to me. I'm going too slow. My friend, if you see my friend, she already got all her stuff in her buggy. I said, stop talking to me or bag me my
This
stuff.
one right here. This one had an alternate UPC. The first uniform you put in there.
Say it again?
Okay, that's a justice suit.
Uh-huh.
The UPC that was on that was $4.98. The justice is like $10 and better. That's the reason why I was in the buggy. We took it back up there and had an alternate UPC.
But what that, explain that. What that mean?
It means it's not the correct price on that.
On both of them? That's what I'm saying. How could you...
It's either other reason why we called the police, because you remember we kept asking for your ID, you say you didn't feel comfortable getting your ID, you kept...
Because that's what I wanted you to explain to me. I asked you just to explain. I said, what we doing the ID for? She said, I'm going to give you, it was for the banning. I said, okay. And like, I want her to come back because that's what I was, while you was doing that, I said, well, she told me to give you my name. She was like, it's okay if I give you the name, because I was looking. She told me to go on my phone and look for a picture. I want her to come back in here. If I
Okay,
could.
so right now the police are here and we're
Yes, sir.
investigating a shoplifting, okay? Shoplifting is a criminal offense, okay? So this is a criminal investigation. We need your identification, okay?
Yes, sir.
We let you talk. We let you explain your story.
Right, sir. Yes.
And it's been a few minutes now,
Okay.
and now we're asking for your ID.
Yes, sir. So you really trying to send me to jail? And we just sat and talked about it. Like, I'm not understanding.
Listen, I have a job to do just like they got a job to do.
Right.
Like we have a job to do. My job is to prevent theft in the store. I don't have no white police, nothing personal, it's just a job.
I get that, but no, what I'm saying is, you just told me it was okay to give you my name and stuff. That's why it was to that point.
Okay, I'm gonna figure out why I don't
Okay.
trust people. I had a young lady yesterday did the same thing. She gave me somebody else's information, so I don't trust nobody when they say that.
See, why you? That's what I'm saying. If you would have said that, it's communication, though. I would have definitely told you,
I
like.
asked you for it.
But listen, though. If you ask me for it, this is all I want to say.
What are we looking at here? What should do?
When I told
This
her
is
that
not
if
a
she
thing.
wanted
Huh?
that, she said I would
Okay.
give her
Right.
just my
Hey.
name. Just my
Two
name and
in
my
a thing.
birthday.
Explain it to
So
him.
I gave her that. From there, I
Okay.
said, well, do I need to
Upon
help
watching
her
the video-
go
Can we
to
start
the
where
and get
she
the
first
stuff
pulls
out?
up?
She said yes. So that's why I didn't provide nothing, because I asked them what was the main point on giving it to me.
Is this under your young lady?
Yes. All that stuff, I don't say all that stuff in that buggy, is no way that y'all thought that I honestly sat there and did that. I got food stamps. I paid for the stuff for food stamps.
So the tag was manipulated on.
Yes, on the first one, yes.
Where are those items?
Up there at the customer service desk.
And that's what I'm saying. If
Which
you look
items
at how
was
they
it?
on there, them things
We
probably
have
been
them.
like that. I just said.
Has she scanned them yet on the video?
About is two shirts, a shirt.
That one, this one right here, the first one she scanned.
That pink one?
Yes.
Both of the pants and the shirt came together. Like you get them together. So I just took them just like that. I brought the extras, the plus size one and the plus size top. They both have the same tag on them. So of course to me I'm gonna go with it. I put the clothes on. Like if you see me at the thing, I tried the clothes on, see if I could fit them. Put the jacket on, like I just did like a quick jacket thing, and then they have a dressing room. Checked out the clothes. Even before then, you will see it was the same way. Matter of fact, I didn't even go in the dressing room for the pants. I checked the shirt out right there, did the pants right then. Got going.
She scanned the first four, and then right here she scanned the next four. That's what she's talking about now.
Mr. Epperson, what you see?
I'm still watching.
What you coming up to with?
Not sure yet, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. I won't say if it didn't give you if it ain't off the video showing you me trying to think, like I'm telling you, you see that camera? The girl's sitting there talking up from the time I got up there to the time I walked off.
So on here, this velvet hoodie that wasn't scanned. So it was scanned, it was just... So what on here wasn't...
Everything that's on there, that wasn't paid for. That wasn't on the original receipt.
It was in her cart and didn't
Yes.
get scanned.
And how much was it on the receipt?
About $100 worth of stuff.
The exact. What's the exact?
98. So me and Tuttle had this exact same thing the other day, and it was clear as day, like the last.
Skip items.
Yeah, but like, yes, but like on the camera you can, like, everything in that cart that you'd see, like, got scanned, but
Took the items and put them up.
yeah, I guess.
And that's what that was on there.
But then like some of the items were like the ones that were like, I guess manipulated tags, and so like the velvet hoodie, I guess, had a different tag, and so they weren't the same price.
So they're reporting that when they went to stop her, they checked her bag or buggy, and these
then,
items
yes.
weren't paid for.
Yes.
So she skipped them in the self-checkout.
Yes. Alright, alright, miss, can you stand up for me?
Can you take the jail, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Can you stand up?
Okay.
It's no big deal. Let's not make it any worse than it is.
Listen, can I just, okay, what then made you come to the decision?
The camera footage and what was found in your car unpaid for. So
Okay.
let's just not make this a big deal, all right?
Yeah, I got you. Can I give my purse to my boyfriend?
No,
'Cause,
we will
my
do
baby
that.
have a doctor's appointment in the morning and she needs to get
We will do that.
So that's fine? Okay, I got you, sir. Don't, you ain't got to. I got you. Can I? Oh, wow. And there's nothing we could do?
Not at this point.
Turn it off your phone.
It's nothing we can do, y'all. My baby is autistic. Like, it's really nothing we can do, y'all. Please.
You'll be in and out. They're just gonna go get you processed.
It's gonna be all the way Monday.
No, it's not.
It's a misdemeanor.
You got a bond.
So we'll until in the morning?
Nope.
That's tonight. If anybody could get to the jail by the time you get processed, have your people ready across the street and gotta go home.
Can you put my hat back on? Oh my God, I'm gonna be on the site.
Huntington.
Now, let's break down the legal analysis. From the moment officers arrived, this was an investigative detention, governed by Terry versus Ohio, 392 U.S. 1, decided in 1968. Under Terry, law enforcement requires only reasonable articulable suspicion, a significantly lower threshold than probable cause for a formal arrest, to lawfully detain a suspect and conduct a preliminary investigation. That is the first legal boundary this encounter operates within. Building on that, the subject immediately began providing a detailed, voluntary account of the incident before receiving any Miranda advisement. This is where the Fifth Amendment becomes critical. Miranda v. Arizona, 384 U.S. 436-1966, establishes that the right against self-incrimination only protects you if you actively invoke it. Voluntary statements made prior to formal custody are generally admissible at trial. Every word spoken at that scene was a double-edged sword. Connected to this is the subject's initial reluctance to provide identification, a point that is widely misunderstood. Approximately 24 states have enacted stop and identify statutes requiring suspects to disclose their identity during a lawful investigative stop. In those jurisdictions, refusal to do so is itself a standalone criminal offense. In states without such statutes, no identification obligation exists during a Terry stop. Though early cooperation typically prevents escalation, the governing law is entirely jurisdiction-specific. From there, we arrive at the element that determines the entire case, mens rea, the legal requirement of criminal intent. Most retail theft statutes define the offense as the willful failure to pay, or the intentional concealment of merchandise. If the scanning failure resulted from inattention, particularly where a store employee's conduct contributed to the disruption, the element of willful intent may not be provable beyond a reasonable doubt. That is the foundation of a legitimate affirmative defense at trial. However, the allegation of manipulated UPC tags reverses that analysis entirely. Tag switching is not an act of inattention. It requires deliberate, purposeful conduct. Where evidence confirms that price tags were altered, mens rea is established forcefully and is very difficult to rebut. The innocent mistake defense collapses under that weight. This is the legal dividing line between civil negligence and criminal liability, and in this footage, that line appears to have been crossed. Turning to probable cause, the legal threshold for arrest, Illinois versus Gates, 462 U.S. 2131983, applies a totality-of-the-circumstances standard. No single piece of evidence needs to be independently conclusive. Here, the store surveillance footage, loss prevention testimony, physical inventory of unpaid goods recovered from the cart and vehicle, and the subject's own voluntary admissions taken together satisfy the standard that a reasonable officer would find probable cause. The arrest threshold was met. Once probable cause is established, the authority to arrest follows. Graham v. Connor, 490 U.S. 386-1989, requires that all arrest decisions be evaluated against the standard of a reasonable officer at the moment of decision, not with the benefit of hindsight. Here, the arrest decision came only after reviewing surveillance footage, conducting a physical inventory, and hearing the subject's full account. That is a methodical investigative sequence, not a premature or impulsive arrest. On the subject of compliance during arrest, physically resisting a lawful arrest, even one you believe is unjust, constitutes a separate criminal offense in most jurisdictions. The legally correct remedy is a motion to suppress evidence before trial or a federal civil rights claim under 42 U.S. C. Section 1983 for any constitutional violations that occurred during the encounter. Compliance is not an admission of guilt. It is the preservation of every legal option available to you. Finally, on the long-term consequences of a misdemeanor theft conviction, the legal exposure here extends far beyond the $98 at issue. A misdemeanor conviction appears on criminal background checks, can disqualify individuals from professional licensing in regulated industries, and in certain states affects eligibility for public housing and assistance programs. The collateral consequences of a low-dollar retail theft charge routinely outlast the sentence itself. That is a dimension of the law that rarely gets discussed at the arrest scene. Now for the grades. The investigating officers receive a B. The detention was legally grounded under Terry v. Ohio. Evidence was gathered systematically before the arrest decision, consistent with the Illinois v. Gates probable cause standard. The arrest was executed without unnecessary force, in line with Graham v. Connor. The single procedural gap. No rights advisory was provided. Before the subject delivered an extensive series of voluntary self-inculpatory statements, a gap a defense attorney will not overlook. The subject receives a C+. Complying with the arrest was legally correct, and she did. However, she voluntarily surrendered her most important constitutional protection. The Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination exists precisely for situations like this one, but it only functions when you invoke it. Providing a detailed narrative of the incident without first consulting counsel is the single most consequential legal error made in this entire encounter. Cooperation and silence are not mutually exclusive. Loss prevention receives a B-. Reviewing surveillance footage before calling police was procedurally sound. The evidence provided to officers was sufficient to establish probable cause. However, the reported inconsistency, a manager initially suggesting the matter had been resolved, followed by a decision to call police anyway, creates a credibility issue regarding the subject's state of mind at the time. If she reasonably believed the situation was settled, that speaks directly to the willfulness element. A defense attorney will find that inconsistency. 3 legal takeaways from this encounter. First, the right to remain silent must be invoked before you speak, not after. Voluntary statements made during an investigation are admissible regardless of intent. Second, providing identification and exercising your right to silence are entirely separate legal obligations. One does not waive the other. Third, the place to challenge the legality of an arrest is a courtroom, not the arrest scene. Compliance preserves options. Resistance eliminates them. Let us know if there is an interaction or legal topic that you would like us to discuss in the comments below. Thank you for watching.